Tonight it's all about 5 whiskies that's been on my radar, 5 whiskies on the bucket list, 5 whiskies that I want to try this year and definitely want to see if I can get a bottle of them. And the first one on my list, quick review, it's going to be the Arran 10-year-old, not a new one, not the one that's available now, but I found online a store that have one that was bottled in the early 2000s, so an old school type of Arran 10-year-old. And the whole idea would be to do a little bit of a comparison against the latest version of it and the one that's about 20 years old. So we're quite looking forward to this one. Not quite expensive. I see they are selling it for about just under €100 for that bottle. So definitely going to do an effort as soon as I go back home. Still traveling here on a beautiful island in the middle of nowhere. My word, it is absolutely fantastic. It's recharging the batteries, getting enough vitamin D to last me for the rest of the year in Belgium. So yes, definitely as soon as I go back, hopefully it's still available, and I will quickly go pick up that Arran. Now, I've been an Arran fan for many years. I've been drinking, reviewing, well, quite a lot of the Arran bottles, and I've never been disappointed. But over the last couple of videos that I did make, there's a lot of people that says, you know, that whiskey, it's lovely now, but it used to be so much better. So the idea is, well, let's go see if it really a lot better previously, and well, keep an eye out for a video on that. And of course, before I go on, I need to pour myself something to drink. I did bring another sample. This is going to be a Kilchoman. It is a Loch Gorm 2024 edition, 46% ABV, natural color, all of those wonderful things. Keep an eye out for the review. I will probably review it in the next day or two. And well, just quick spoiler. Oh my word, it is lovely. And just one sip. Oh my word, that is a lovely whiskey. So the next one on my list that I really want to try. Now, I did buy a bottle from the Signatory Vintage series some time ago. Loved it. Loved the idea of taking maybe an ordinary whiskey and begin leaving it in the hands of the people from the Signatory Vintage, and they create something that for me is always a little bit better, it seems. Now I'm looking at the Speyside, the M. Well, people say the M is for Macallan. I'm not going to debate that tonight, but the 15-year-old small batch, it is a 2009 vintage. And yeah, the number 18 in the series. So quite looking forward to giving that a nosing and tasting. That's my type of whiskey, that little sherry cask whiskies that I really enjoy over the long period of time. So quite looking forward to giving that Signatory Vintage with that little M, giving that a nosing and tasting. Bottled at 48.2% ABV, fully matured, of course, in sherry cask. And you're looking at that sherry monster, the dark cherries, a little bit of a oakiness, a little bit of a spiciness, a little bit of an orange note. And of course on the taste, oh my word, that rich fruit cake, chocolate, nutty notes, and of course toffee notes, all of those lovely flavors. So definitely something that I would love to try when I get back into Belgium. It's summertime, so definitely something that I would try, well, hopefully within this year of 2025. The next one on the list, maybe a little bit of a surprise for a lot of people, but yeah, I'm a little bit hooked on the Laphroaig. And of course, I'm talking about the 10-year-old, but I want to try the cask strength, batch number 15, I see. So quite looking forward to giving that a nosing and tasting. And of course, it is a high ABV whiskey, cask strength, 56.5% ABV, my type of whiskey. A whiskey that you have full control over. If you want to add some water, you add water. If you don't want to add water, well, of course, it's up to you. You bought it, you drink it the way that you like. Now that, of course, it is a little bit of a challenging whiskey. So for me anyway, but with time, I've learned to giving that a little bit more airtime, and of course it is a lovely whiskey. It does have a little bit too much sometimes for me with the iodine. The peat can be a little bit too much, but then of course if you just push through that iodine TCP notes, you get the lovely fruity notes, that toffee notes that coming through, lovely on the taste. And with a little bit of time in the glass, your nose gets used to that little peatiness, and then of course it becomes just lovely, light, sweet and friendly. So definitely cask strength. I do like a good cask strength whiskey, and of course I would love to give this one a nosing and tasting. The next one on the list going to be a little bit of a traveling all the way to Paul John Pedro Ximénez Select Cask. I see that is also becoming available. Now, anytime you slap in the word Pedro Ximénez, for me, I am on board. I do like a good Pedro Ximénez matured whiskey. And of course, John or Paul John is definitely never disappointed. I've always loved them. I also like their Christmas edition. They do make a fantastic Christmas edition whiskey, sweet whiskey, a whiskey that, well, brings out the fruitcake in every glass that you drink. So definitely something that I would try to buy. Not that expensive, but something that, well, maybe buy it just before the winter sets in again in Belgium. A nice warming whiskey, a whiskey that bring out a little Christmassy spirit within that bloody cold Belgium. And the last one on my list, and I cannot go out while making a bucket list, it needs to be on the bucket list for me, and that is Yamazaki. And this time I'm looking for that 12-year-old Yamazaki. It becomes a little bit expensive though, but it's something that I really enjoy. It is a Japanese whiskey. It is a whiskey that always puts a smile on my face. Well, until I see the prices of these things and my wallet starts hiding, then I know it must be a Yamazaki. But the 12-year-old is definitely something that I would try to buy this year. And I've got the original one, the no age statement whiskey one. I still have one bottle left. Haven't opened it yet, but I've definitely got my eye on the 12-year-old. It's much more affordable than the 18-year-old whiskey. And of course, that flavors of a Yamazaki, it is just fantastic. That little nuttiness. It's pleasant, it's light, it's floral, it's a little bit tropical, it's silky smooth. It's a whiskey that I really enjoy. And if you have an opportunity to giving that a nosing and tasting, go for it. You're not going to be disappointed. And that, my dear friends, is my list of 5 bucket list whiskies for 2025. Hopefully I can get an opportunity to buy all of them and do a quick review maybe, and of course sit back and relax and enjoy life. So thank you very much for watching. Please make a list. Tell me about your bucket list whiskies for 2025. Cheap ones, expensive ones, doesn't matter to me. Let's talk whiskey. So see you next time. Please remember to like and subscribe, and I see you. Cheers.